What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Owen Gifford Show, the second episode of a weekly podcast series and I'm your host, Owen Gifford, here from Denver, Colorado. First episode went pretty well. Had a few listeners, and I appreciate everyone who listened to the first episode. And if you're listening again, that's great. We're only going to go up. We're only going to get better. Takes time to get better. And I even like from the first one to the second one, I've learned a lot. One, I learned that I am an extremely loud breather. So I didn't know that. I went 26 years in my life without knowing that between sentences, I'm just taking these. Like, how much air does one guy need? Apparently a lot. But, luckily we have technology. We live in a world of technology where I can hop on DaVinci Resolve. Not a sponsor of the show, but maybe one day because I love DaVinci Resolve. I really do. I use it, and they have this AI thing that takes away your loud breathing. Like I just did one, but you're probably not going to hear it on this podcast because of the beautiful, beautiful technology. And I'm really happy that I actually started the podcast. I wanted to do this podcast since I was in college, and maybe even before that. I just wanted to yap to the abyss for it to be on the internet for all of eternity. But I overthought it. I was like, I'm not ready. You're ready. You're actually probably not ready, but you just gotta throw stuff out there. Stop overthinking. I overthink everything. And it is my Achilles heel. But I'm learning not to. I'm learning that doing is better than thinking, and learning along the way, because you kind of open doors along the way that you never even knew were there. So even if you thought for 5 years about something, you never would have thought about how, I breathe so much, and how I'm going to have to figure out how to edit that out, because I will never be able to listen to anything that I say ever again because I breathe so much. Oh, listening to yourself is just the worst. That is my least favorite thing about comedy and podcasting and all of this social media stuff, is I'm constantly editing videos about myself. Like, I want to get some other inputs in here. I just can't stand. But I mean, you got to do what you got to do. I avoided doing what you got to do for a long time, and I've kind of learned that yeah, I'm not in charge here. It's above my pay grade. Social media is here to stay, so might as well use it to my advantage to build some platform and maybe make people laugh, give some advice, shine some light on some interesting people. But it's going to take 100, 500, 1,000 episodes to get there. And we are on number 2, baby. Episode number 2. Some of the best advice I've ever gotten is so simplistic. It's like, if you want to be a guy who has a podcast, you got to start a podcast. If you want to be a guy that has 100 episodes of podcasts, you have to do and post and record and edit 100 episodes of a podcast. Not 99, not 98, 100. That's the same with anything. When I learned to snowboard, it was like, okay, well, you got to be a snowboarder to learn to snowboard. If you want to be a comedian, you have to do comedy. You got to show up to open mics. You got to riff. You got to be if you want to be a podcaster, well, you got to post some podcasts, and long before you ever become number 1 or even show a blimp or even get 100 views on Spotify, you got to put the work in. All right. I was just down in Moab. Drove down. I live in Denver, Colorado, and I drove down to southern Utah. I love Moab. I was getting that itch to get out. So I drove down. It was about 6-hour drive. Not too bad. Beautiful through the mountains, and made it to the desert. And I love the desert because I'm from the mountains, and the desert is just such a unique place. And it's crazy. We're fortunate in America to live in such a giant country that you can drive 6 hours and still be in your same country, and it's like a entirely different planet. Instead of pine trees and you know, legalized weed. You got Mormons and Red Rocks, just a short drive away. And the people really change. Like, oh my God, the rednecks in Moab. Nobody has more fun than rednecks in Moab. These people were driving these dune buggy like things over giant on the side of cliffs, like rock crawling and doing just the craziest shit. And I saw one guy, he was taking his Jeep up like this gnarly path. I think it's a famous path in Moab called like the Canyon Rim or something. And he had his hood up and everyone was around it. Like I think his car died up there. Like what do you even do in that situation? When your car is dead on the side of a road on the side of a cliff. Like I have no idea. I guess you just roll it out and hope the insurance company doesn't figure it out that you pushed it off. I don't know, but it was great. And I love camping. I love going camping. And it's interesting in this world, like we're always like, oh, I want a big house. I can't afford a big house. Nobody in America can afford anything right now. And that adds a lot of anxiety and jealousy and all these human feelings like, oh, I want that thing. I'm so angry because I don't have a house with a yard and a garage, or like the boats we were talking about last time. But then the only remedy to getting away from not having a house, like the pain of not having a house, is to go camping and literally have nothing and literally not have a house, like literally sleep in a tent. I just think that's so funny. Like the only remedy for being mad that you don't have a house is to go in the middle of nowhere and realize that you're going to be all right even if you sleep in a tent. Just that nothingness. That nothingness is great. But holy hell, are the gas prices high right now? That's what I notice. And it's tax season. The American middle class just keeps getting screwed. I'm writing a stand-up joke about this right now. It's like these politicians, they say that, the American middle class is the backbone of America. The working class is the backbone of America. That's what we always hear. And pretty much if someone says you're the backbone of anything, that just means that you're the one getting screwed the hardest. You're the one paying the most taxes. You're the one, paying for the Medicare, the services. You're the one paying for the roads and all these things. And then the billionaires, I think they're the right hand of America, because while we're doing all the work, the middle class, while we're doing all the work, the right hand, they're getting all the credit. They got the thumb, but they're the one, taking too long to shower and making a mess of everything. Yeah, I just thought, I don't know. I'm writing a joke about that. Writing jokes takes so long. Another thing I noticed when I was camping is it's getting harder and harder to walk away from all the stimulation, from the TikTok, the Instagram, the doom scrolling, the being connected, the being locked in, because our world is getting more and more connected. So it's making it harder and harder to step away from that connection. I think we got a real dopamine problem going on in this country. I mean, you can see it with this Pokemon. Like everything is gambling right now. Like Pokemon is through the roof. I see these vending machines and these Pokemon vending machines in these gas stations and grocery stores. If you haven't seen them, like literally as soon as they're stocked, like hundreds of thousands of dollars of Pokemon every day are being sold out, and they're sold out everywhere. Like you can't even buy them online right now because it's the nerds' way of gambling. And that Pokemon is a kid's thing. We got the kids gambling so early because these Pokemon cards, there's like maybe there's like a 1 to 5% chance of pulling a card that's worth $500, but each of these boxes costs like $150. So you're pretty much like putting $150 into a slot machine and hoping you get 500 out. And Nintendo is just, I think that's who owns Pokemon. Nintendo just must be raking in the money. But everyone is just looking for dopamine, because when we get off If we get off the scrolling, which I know I'm being a hypocrite because I post so much on social media, and that's like literally what this job is. This podcast is just media posting, adding to the slop. But like we get off the slop, we get off the doom scroll, and our dopamine is so cooked. Like we need more dopamine. So then we just like start doing things like Pokemon, which is just gambling. And then and don't even get me started about oh my God. And now we got these prediction markets. Like sports betting is legal in some places, but now we have prediction markets where you can literally gamble on everything, and including sports. Where it's illegal to bet on sports, it's legal to use these prediction markets, which is just such a crazy loophole and so obvious. And it also makes it so hard to like build any wealth through the stock market, because why would you wait 10 years for a 20% return when you can just throw it all on the New York Jets, or will Trump say the word restaurant today? Like these are real bets, and like I don't even know how they come up with these prediction market like prompts, because reality is so weird. Reality is like a Mad Lib nowadays. You know, it's like, oh, they're having a UFC event on the White House lawn. Give me give me a proper noun and a place. UFC, White House lawn. Like these are real things that are happening. The FBI director, the director of the FBI, flies to Italy to get drunk with the US hockey team. Like these are real things that are happening, but they sound like Mad Libs. So how can you expect to predict reality? How can you expect even to come close? I really don't think it's possible. The Bachelorette gets canceled because she throws a chair at her child. It's because she's from Pueblo, if you know Colorado. But the world is just, I don't know. The world is just so crazy. How can you expect to be able to predict what's going to happen? It's just another way of finding dopamine, which is just so crazy to me. I actually want to look up. I want to look up like how do these prediction markets actually make these, like the odds? Like how do you know what the odds are of Trump saying restaurant in a like a speech? Let's ask the old AI. How do prediction markets come up with their prompts? I do like ChatGPT. I've come around to it. I don't love AI totally, but I mean, ChatGPT is like better Google. Okay, prediction market prompts, often called event contracts or questions, aren't random. They're carefully designed so they can be traded, measured, and resolved objectively. Here's how they are created. Start with a real world event. Make the question precise and unambiguous. So, like a yes, no. Define a trusted resolution source, a specific data source. Legal and compliance review. Check if people will actually trade it. Ongoing monitoring. Okay, these aren't really giving me. They must just be paying some bigwig MIT guy thousands and millions of dollars to come up with it. I don't know. If any of you know, let me know. But I just don't. These prediction markets are just I mean, we're the whole world is gonna gamble. We're gambling on. We're gonna start gambling on gender reveal parties of Tim the accountant. Just random people, start live streaming it. Like everything is just gonna be live streamed. We're gonna live stream the whole world all the time. We're just gonna be everyone's gonna be holding up a camera, wearing these glasses that are recording everything, and we're just gonna live stream. You're gonna watch a live stream of the live stream while watching a live stream. We're just headed towards inception, and then we're gonna gamble on those live streams of gambling of live streams of gambling of live streams. Yeah, we got a real dopamine issue in this country. Everything is just too easy. It comes too fast. I was reading. I heard something about these GLP-1s, which are like Ozempic. These things people are using for weight loss, and I don't necessarily have a problem with it because sometimes you need a little help in the weight loss department. I understand that, but what I will warn about is people think it's like, oh, this miracle drug, like, oh, you lose weight and there's no repercussions. Okay, buddy. When has anything ever not had a repercussion? That's how the same way I feel about vaping. Like, of course it has repercussions. There's nothing free in this world. And these GLP-1s, apparently, there's studies coming out. I don't know if it's true or not, but I thought it was interesting anyways. That these GLP-1s are inhibiting dopamine. Like they inhibit dopamine. So it's like, yes, they inhibit your desire for food, but dopamine is used for other things like they also reduce like gambling issues, drinking issues, anything that you struggle with, but it also, on the other end, dopamine also produces like love for your partner. And apparently people are falling out of love with their partners because of these GLP-1s because they aren't getting any dopamine and they're cooking their receptors. So I don't know. I don't have anything totally against them. I'm just saying be careful because nothing is free and nothing ever has been free. There is always, always, always repercussions to everything, you know? Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, exercise and eating healthy, if you can, it's still the best option and always will be. It's natural. Exercise is great. Helps produce those endorphins. I've started cold plunging every day, which I know is the brosphere. But it gets easier every time, and every time I go in there, I wake up, and then I hit the sauna after a workout, and I feel better about myself. I feel better in life. Like my life can be crumbling around me, which it often is. But if I get a good workout in, I'll be all right. I got my health. I've not had my health before, and that is it really is like the only problem. Yeah, but we got a dopamine issue. I also like nobody's having sex apparently. Like the all of the sex is going down. Social, we're not connecting. I heard a scary stat that 85% of kids under the age of 18 are using ChatGPT as a friend. Like they're going home and saying, "Hey chat, Tiffany rejected me today." And there's a serious problem with that. One, because you should be talking to your friends and your family because human beings still the top of the food chain. And also, ChatGPT always gives you the response that makes you think that you're right. And sometimes you need someone to tell you, like, dude, forget about it. You're being dumb. And ChatGPT won't do that. ChatGPT is going to be like, that's okay. Tiffany might have rejected you, but you're actually the coolest guy in the world. Newsflash, you're not the coolest guy in the world unless you're Chuck Norris. All right? And if you don't know who Chuck Norris is, you're definitely not the coolest guy in the world. Yeah, but I don't know. We got a dopamine issue. I don't know what's going to happen, but maybe our brains got to get faster, and that's why everybody thinks they have ADHD nowadays. All right, in other news, Tiger Woods will never learn. Oh, poor Tiger. Tiger got arrested for another DUI. Once again, he's had problems with it in the past, and this is one of those things that, it's really surprising to me because Tiger Woods, he got, from a young age, he was told to golf. And he took 1,000 swings a day since he was a young child. His dad made him, and he learned that repetition is what leads to greatness, to improving a skill. Because if you swing 1,000 golf swings a day, this is that Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 hours thing. Takes 10,000 hours to master anything. And Tiger knows this. And Tiger knows this because he's swinging 1,000 swings a day and he becomes the best golfer in the world. So he knows that repetition and focus leads to improvement. But the guy does not get better at drinking and driving, which is not funny, I know. But I'm just saying, you'd think with how much he does it, he'd get a little bit better, but no. He keeps messing up and he keeps fucking up. Tiger, he's good at golf and he is not good at driving and drinking. And nobody should be. But I'm just saying that Tiger is really bad at it and he needs to get some help, buddy. Maybe it's time to hang it up. This leads me to another thing that greatness. This is another thing about how nothing is free. Everything comes with a price in this world, Like greatness. Everybody thinks it's the best to be the best. But it comes with a price. It's lonely at the top. There's no one that will relate to you. And if you look at anyone who's great, there's a sign of insanity within them. Or at least obsession. Like Tom Brady ripped apart his family just to play another season and win a Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's probably more to that, but he's still trying to go back. He asked the NFL the other week. He can't. He was great because he literally obsessed about it and he can't do anything else. Alex Honnold, one of the best climbers in the world, the guy who free soloed El Capitan in Yosemite National Park in California. You're telling me that guy's not a little cuckoo, not a little crazy, not a little Cocoa Puffs in the head? The guy hangs on the sides of massive, giant cliffs, and he's hanging by like one thumb above. And if he makes one mistake, that's it. And he free solos these giant, crazy 1,000-foot walls where he's just hanging on by a little sliver, completely locked in, completely focused. And he's the best climber in the world. Don't get me wrong. It is amazing. Alex Honnold is one of the most amazing human beings on this planet. But the guy is crazy. The guy hangs off of cliffs, and he'll tell you himself, he's like, I am insane, and that is why I can do this. Michael Jordan, that whole greatest basketball player of all time, that whole documentary on him was pretty much like, yeah, my teammates thought I was crazy. I am crazy. What are you going to do? I'm the greatest basketball player of all time. There is nothing free in this world. Greatness comes with a price. And so does everything else. So does GLP-1s. So does prediction markets. So does being in the middle class. Yeah, I don't know. There is always a price. That's why I think it's important to choose your pain. Because the world will always find a way to make you suffer a little bit. That's just kind of part of reality. That's what the Buddhists are all about. Life is suffering. That's their number one rule, Buddhism. That's why I think Buddha is Gen Z. If you make a religion where your first rule is suffering, your religious leader might be Gen Z. But I think it's important to choose your pain, because the world will give you pain no matter what you do, no matter how much you avoid risk. So it's more important to seek out comfortable pain. Like working out. Like working out every day. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it's painful. Doing the ice bath every day. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it's painful. But I'll tell you what's a lot more painful from personal experience. 2 back surgeries. Like doing yoga every day my whole life probably would have been pretty painful and annoying. I would have taken that any day of the week over having a metal spine and never being able to run again or snowboard or do all these things, you know? You got to choose your pain. Yeah, eating vegetables sucks. But at least when you eat vegetables every day, you're performing the best you can in the bedroom. But if you go the GLP-1 route, taking the easy route, avoid the pain of eating the vegetable, well, then life takes away your ability to boom, 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 pow. It's instead of a boom, pow, it's more of a knock, a light knock. Instead of a dynamite explosion, it's more of a, trickling creek or whatever. So you got to choose your pain. You got to choose what you can do. Pain is such a good, it's a really good teacher. So if you don't learn your lesson, hopefully you will the next time. I only started taking care of my body outside of sports and organized sports because I learned the lessons through the pain. Like, if I don't do these things, I'm not invincible and my body will break down. That's why pain is such a good teacher. The other great teachers in this world, number one, experience. All the great philosophers believe that experience is the number one teacher. Let's ask chat. Give me some quotes from philosophers about how experience is the greatest teacher. Aristotle. For the things we have to learn before we can do them, we learn by doing them. Confucius. I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. Nietzsche. Friedrich Nietzsche. There are no facts, only interpretations. I'm pretty sure Einstein has one. Einstein, the only source of experience, of knowledge is experience. Smartest man in the world at the time. Experience really is such a good teacher. Like, you don't really know something until you know it. If you know, you know. Which I know is so basic, but it is true. If you know, you know. So the best teachers in this world are pain and experience. And also Bill Nye the Science Guy. I think the entire Idaho public education system where I grew up deserves to throw Bill Nye the Science Guy a retirement party for the ages. Because I think more people learned from Bill Nye the Science Guy than any other situation. I remember when that VHS TV wheeled into a classroom, everybody locked the fuck in. They were like, oh, we're not playing around today. Old Billy's here. Bill, 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 Bill. I mean, what hypes you up more than hearing Bill's name chanted over and over and seeing Bill Nye the Science Guy? You're like, oh, I've been at school all year. I'm going to learn more in this 30 minutes than I ever have in my entire life because Bill's the man. So those are life's greatest teachers. Pain, experience, and old Billy the Science Guy. Thanks for listening, everybody.